lower back?
Yeah.
You know what that also comes from?
What?
You have bad computer posture.
Oh no, that is not what it comes from.
What posture is it? Computer posture.
That is not. Well,
This.
oh no, it's.
Also like this when you're looking at your phone.
Yeah.
It's because like I be moving around a lot. So. No, I mean, it helps me not in the moment though. I mean, like I don't feel it in the moment when I'm moving, but like after the moment, I start feeling it.
Maybe strings. Yes.
With the bathroom? Wait, why do they call it the bathroom when you're not taking a shower?
You know what? It's the polite thing to say. Something what they call it the toilet.
Oh, the restroom.
The restroom.
I mean,
Are you resting now, or are you like?
You're kind of resting though if you think about it.
The restroom.
You're kind of resting.
The water closet.
The water closet.
That's what they call it in Europe. The WC. Water closet. WC.
The loo, in England they say the loo, but I don't know if that's, is that gross? I'll say loo. You're on the spot, Tisha. In my dialect in Italian, it's opacals. Opacals.
Just you can't close the door. You can't close the door.
We're just gonna go over. Oh yes, but I want to go over our calendar. Thank you. Yes. That's what I get if I take it on a separate sheet too. Come on, put your phones away. Let's go. You look very collegiate today. Look at him with the purple and then around your shoulders.
You look like a yuppie.
Wait, what's a yuppie?
A young.
The 80s, right?
Oh yeah.
Young, upwardly mobile. Something. Oh gosh.
I thought
Upwardly mobile person.
I already pronounced that as a yuppie. I think it's just like colorful clothing.
No, it's more to do. I mean, it's how you're dressing, but it's also like about like your job. You're out there making moves.
A young urban professional.
Oh, a young urban professional. Okay. Soon you will. Soon enough you will.
Wait, is it true that in the 1980s
Did
they
you sign up, Christopher?
No. Is it true that in the 1980s they wear like colorful?
You said you're gonna sit here. I didn't put that.
I'll put
Stretch, just stretch.
But is it true that in the 1980s they were like most people wear colorful outfits?
Yeah, that's true. But business people.
Oh.
Also, you look at you out in the Hamptons.
Yeah, very.
That's very Hamptons. Yeah.
Very chic, very coastal chic.
Yes. All right, let's go over. I know we love calendars. I love calendars. This one I had to change.
Yeah, I have one on my refrigerator.
A little bit. Okay, good. This one, of course, I have the green star. Where do I have the green star on? What day?
What's gonna come back in the
Until you have the big green star on.
In a month, I won't see you.
Global history region.
We're done with school.
I'm not asking about that. I want to know where do I have the big green star? Find the big
Lock
green
it
June
star.
18th. June 18th.
Hold on. Let why did I put a green star there? Because it's the global region.
Wait, that's what I said.
I wanted her to answer.
Oh, it's June 18th.
June 18th. June 18th. It says it starts at around 9 a.m. and 9:15. What time should you be here?
At 8.
Yeah.
8 would be perfectly ideal. I would say no later than 8:30 because remember you're gonna have to come in. You have to give them all of your electronics and your phone. Maybe there's a line.
They give me a long line.
But Evelyn wanted to talk about June 11th. June 11th I have to cross out. They changed it. It was a Regents Day, but now it is not. Now it is a regular school day. Come to school. Well, again, do you have to come if you don't have Regents? Do you have to come to school? No. Did everyone get invitations from Regents?
No.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't get it yet.
Surprise to you.
I think I did. Right?
Who's your counselor?
Miss Santos?
Well, they're probably doing very soon. Anyway, you're only on invitation. So Robert says he does not have bio, life science, or earth science. So he's not gonna come in on June 10th.
I think they're all taking a look at
Juneteenth, we have a holiday.
But
What day is that? Well, that's
July, June
Maybe
9th.
we should live in a
that's tough.
It's gonna be a long day, you're right. You're right.
We gotta do all of this in a day?
Yes. So, and again, this is a weird schedule, it jumps around a little. So June 10th, Tuesday, is the day you feel like you guys don't have.
You can plan when you can go to the gym. You have to come in if you're not taking the regions?
No.
Okay.
So June 11th is a regular school day. So June 10th, if you're not, you're gonna stay home if you don't have these tests. June 11th, you're coming in.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna, and in between here, we have, we have some regular days and we have,
Very
oh,
good.
wait a minute, I do have a good, I have a very good, that's what I was trying to get.
Man, come on, let's
That's your task for this class.
So I put a big
That was
green
the
star.
first thing we said, but you
That was
were
the
on.
first thing Evelyn told us. I said, why did I put a big green star there? Robert, why did I put a big green star there?
That's great.
That's ours, because I think that's the most important. I'm sure all of your other teachers say that theirs is.
Do you guys remember your final exams in these classes? How much are they worth?
$10.
After
Right, so we're going over schedule, like you calendar.
a whole semester.
A whole semester, a whole not a whole semester, a whole marking period, right? So you have first marking period, second marking period, third marking period, and then your final exam is worth a whole nother marking period.
25% of your grade.
Quarter of your grade.
Oh!
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
So like, I'm kind of good. I'm kind of God's moderator. I'm just doing conflict.
Christian, take a look at the calendar. What day is our test for this class? What day is our region?
Wait, isn't 26 the last day of school?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so you know how I knew? You know how
27 is the first day of summer.
I knew because I searched it up on Google.
Wait, what time did we leave?
Calendar?
No, it was like it just straight up told me on Google.
Did we leave?
Yeah.
at like
No, not AI. Wait, AI.
Do you have to, on these dates, do you have to come to school unless you're taking everything?
I'm thinking the whole.
So on June 26th, do you have to come in? No. To the loop.
To a
All right, so
loop.
listen, Robert, which photo is
To the loop.
So this is the region schedule that you have on paper. However, this is the school calendar that is on Google Classroom. You need to look at it. All right? So we're here. Today's regular class, right? Regular class day. Tomorrow's a regular class day. It's the end of the marking period. Marking period 3. Thursday, we have no school. It is a Islamic holiday, religious holiday. We do not have school on Thursday. Come to school. Come to school on Friday because you are all going to have your ELA final that day. You must come to school. I know it's weird that we're off Thursday and then you gotta come Friday and then you're off for the weekends, but tough memories.
That's good.
Yeah, you get a little break, you can relax, whatever you need to do. All right, so come to school Friday. Our final is the 9th, that Monday. It's gonna be about
So we come on Friday, right?
at least 20, yes.
Yeah,
And make sure you show for your English class. Whoever, I don't know what English you guys are in. I don't know.
So the 7th and 8th, we don't come to school. And
No, it's okay. There's not Saturday and Sunday are not.
Ah.
So that's what it is. So Saturday and Sunday would be here, Sunday.
So
So this is just Monday through Friday.
Hey, the 13th we have a barbecue.
No, what?
We have a barbecue.
So look. So again, on the 10th, you
No, I was
must
about to say
come on the
no.
9th. I'm not choosing anyone to take your final. You must come on the 9th. But again, as Ms. Kramer said, that is 25% of your grade.
It's a big old part of your grade.
If you do not come in and take it, I put in a 0. I cannot give you a magic 55. We are told to put in zeros if you do not come at all and take it at all.
What if we're sick?
Well, then you need to let someone know and let me know. If you have a real reason, that's different.
Don't be sick.
But don't be sick.
Don't be sick.
If you have a little come in. If you're really sick.
Do you guys have time to really make up these exams?
No.
No.
Look at, we're almost done. We are in the home stretch. This is crunch time.
Yeah.
And the problem
Captain
is
Crunch.
we're going towards the end. The problem problem with that, the problem with that is forever since regions, we are all busy. We are either proctoring, we are either, I may be out of the building again, grading. I talked.
Okay, good.
We'll see. And,
No, I'm not going to summer
so we're
school.
gonna be here.
I'm not.
So we have-
Oh, you want to see my grades?
See?
Stop being rude, now you're being rude.
Wait, they were talking first.
I heard you.
Stop.
I need everybody to stop being rude. This is important. This is important stuff. Everything we're discussing here is important. I'm glad you gotta pay attention. All right, so a lot of people are saying you do not have, you are not taking this Regis. This is bio, earth, and space. Okay, so if you're not taking, you're gonna stay home next week. Okay, all right, I'll ask when that's done. All right, so 11 and 12, we're going to be in school. We're going to review for the Regents, and we can do test corrections, okay?
What happens if you don't come to school and take your test on the 9th with Mr. Dolfo?
0.
You get a 0. If you have to take it on the 11th, do you get to do test corrections on the 11th?
Yes.
No, you lose that day because you're taking your test. You only have one day to do test corrections. So is it best to come in on the 9th and take your test?
Yes.
Because then you have 2 days to do test corrections with Mr. Dolfo. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You can build up your grade. Yes?
Yes.
Jay Sean, yes? Okay.
Okay, so then on Thursday, on this Friday, the 13th, again, I don't think it's gonna be a regular day. We're gonna be
We
at
have no
school,
idea what that day looks like, right?
and we really don't know.
Yes.
But don't count on it for schoolwork.
I guess there's gonna be food.
At the first period, when you coming to school, do this immediately go to the.
I don't know what
We
the
don't know
city
what
does.
that day looks like.
Because
We're,
usually last year, again, they had food, that people come in to cook food for us, and then like the bouncy houses. I don't know what it's, I'm hoping it's, because that was really fun.
yeah.
That
We were
was
out there a long time.
So
So-
when we find something out, Christian, we will definitely tell you, but right now, we know as much as you do, okay?
All right, so then on Monday the 16th is our final class. This last day we'll be together at the class, oh my God. For the year, and we're gonna do a little more research review. Then they really start, again, because these exams are throwing us off a little bit, the regions. But anyway, so the 17th Tuesday, they start in earnest. Is anyone in here? Well, I don't know, maybe you don't know. You have ELA and living
I
environment.
think you guys are taking both of those.
Yeah, so Jay Sean seems to say that, right?
Yeah.
Both of what?
Jay
ELA.
Sean said he feels he's taking both ELA and living environment. So those are 2 tests, 2 big regions in one.
I'm taking.
It's a
Yeah.
lot, it is a lot. The 18th is ours, oh my God. You've been working 2 years for this, 2 years. And ours is in the morning, algebra is in the afternoon. Make sure you get here the latest, 8:30 a.m. If you need to set 20 alarms, you need to tell your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, whoever you need. And again, remember, get a good night's sleep before. Whatever your routine is, if you like a little breakfast, eat breakfast, you know.
So make sure you're on time, guys, because there's
On
only
time.
a certain.
What happens if there are cutoff times for the regions? The morning and the afternoon. In the morning, it is 10 a.m. If you come in here at 10 a.m. or 10:01, they're not gonna let you in this room to take this test. Or any of them. In the afternoon, I think it's 2.
Right.
So
We
we,
give you like an hour. You can be up to an hour late. However,
You
does that mean you can stay an extra hour?
no.
No. The clock is still ticking. You do not get an extra hour because you were late. So please be on time.
Wait,
And
so
also,
like,
too, if you come in and you're rushing, like, then you're like out of sorts. You want to come in, you come, you relax, laugh a little, be focused, right?
wait, so like, if we don't come, like, we're late, we can't do any of them?
If an hour, you have an hour. You can be up to an hour, like 55 minutes late, but then I don't recommend. A, you're losing your own time, and you're not gonna come in like fresh and ready. You're gonna be like panicking.
That's it. If you don't get, that test is given from 9 until, whatever, 4 hours. 9 to 12, whatever the time is, it doesn't mean that you can stay and sit longer for the test just because you're late. They have these in place for a reason, to protect the confidentiality of the test. That's why. So it's not a school rule, it's a state rule.
And also too, so say you do have algebra right after us, that means you're gonna be an hour late to them.
Right.
Which
You
really,
can't do.
you can't be an hour late to all of us.
That's,
Okay.
that's crazy.
That's crazy. Okay, be on time. Part of life is showing up on time. Again, on time to me is always a little early. Ask me if you invite me to a party, if you say come at 6 o'clock, I'm probably gonna be in the parking lot by At 5:45, waiting, at 6 o'clock, I'm coming in. That's it. You better be ready. The 19th is no school, it's Juneteenth. It's a holiday.
Good.
Yes, you get a nice break on the 19th, Juneteenth. This is the day where all the enslaved people in America finally knew they were free. On the 20th, we have U.S. history in the morning, Earth science in the afternoon, which you don't even have to worry about U.S. history. On the 23rd, why don't we have school on the 23rd? I don't know.
It's like a rating day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they don't have to come, but we come.
We can, okay.
You guys don't have any tests, there are no regions scheduled for that day, don't know why.
And again, on the 24th, chemistry and trigonometry, I presume no one in here is taking these. I presume. So if you're not taking them, you're not.
I'm taking
Oh, then you got it.
four.
Trigonometry and chemistry.
Oh, hell.
Those are the last ones.
No, look it up. Very
Those are
good.
the last. Good. If you have questions, ask your, again, really ask your counselor.
What's Cuba?
Good question.
Good question. I just learned English. Did you drop?
No. It's
No? What did you drop?
Oh, it's Rosemary.
Oh, okay.
My phone's in my house.
Stop dropping your phone.
My phone's in my house.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Evelyn asked a very good question about the Spanish regions, but it looks like it's on the 23rd.
I saw it in
Oh, the
Spanish.
LOTE. The LOTE is on,
What is LSE?
I don't know what that is. Because I have that on mine, the LOTE.
Wait, what is it? LOTE?
I don't know, we're trying to figure it out.
Lost.
Lotte. I say Lotte.
No paper for hair.
Is that part like if you're an ESL student?
No,
Yeah, that might be on the 23rd. But since she has no
it's
school.
a computer based.
Can I drink some water?
Yes, I might need to go and get some.
What is it?
Oh. Languages other than English, LOTE.
So is that a regent or is that a different?
You know what? I got this wrong. And it's.
So I didn't write that down.
This where you're talking about. Oh, yeah, you're 11.
Should we give this to Ms. Burns?
Oi.
Yeah, how are you?
To corruptly now.
I want to
Soon, my love. Is this yours? Double check and see if this is yours. But then. I think it is.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have a video to watch.
Oh.
We have Gianna. She'll be in the
Oh, yeah, too much to say.
Yes.
Oh my God.
More heavy stuff. We've had a very heavy end of the year. Robert, put your phone away, please. Come on. Do you want to start calling parents? I don't know.
This is crazy.
Come on, it's too late. Put it away. That's not away.
I have to write an essay?
Look at their phone when it's out.
Maybe I have to write an essay? A short one?
Yes.
I don't know.
And you're gonna
I'm
write
not
another
using
so again, I know everyone thinks it's the end of the year, we can have parties and relax. It's the opposite. It's reading time. That's it.
Crunch.
It's a crunch, yes. crunch.
Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Captain Crunch time. Absolutely. Put it away. Look up, pretend you're learning. That's the main thing you're doing the wrong thing.
2 pieces of evidence.
Looks suspicious.
Yes, you look sus.
Sussy Baka.
Robert.
A sussy
You look
Baka.
sus.
You're looking like a sussy Baka.
A what?
A sussy Baka.
Weird.
I don't know.
A sussy Baka.
What?
On 9/11.
Off the top of your head, Christopher, what was 9/11?
The time that New York like went down.
Oh, New York, and also Washington D.C. There was an incident in Washington D.C.
Oh yeah, Matt. I can tell you something real quick about 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Jackson was gonna go on top of the tower.
What he was?
He was.
I don't know.
That's cat.
That is not cap. People are saying it.
That's cat.
That's not cap. I have evidence.
All right, so we're gonna watch this video. So let's let this up here is better. It's in color. So does anyone else want to give more detail about what happens in New York
So
on September 11th?
basically, Osama bin Laden was the leader. It was the leader of a terrorist group called Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
Which they organized to carry out a 9/11 attack on September 11, 2001. And so basically, they hijacked like the plane, like they hijacked the plane, and then they threatened like the pilots to like move, and they was maneuvering it, and the people was like scared. So and they were recording. It was like a normal day until like a plane just randomly just crashed in the tower, and until like it started smoking, and then there was fire, and people started running, and then it hit the other tower again, which people was in the tower also, so they was really scared. And then there was a lot of firefighters and people were running, and then there was a lot of smoke, and then after that the towers fell eventually, and people started running because the smoke was like too fast. And then basically I think like they were still fighting Osama bin Laden until they killed him eventually.
Eventually, under Barack Obama's presidency, he was finally caught and killed. Yes. But yeah, I mean, do you want to add something? You gave a very good description.
Then it like at that time that was when like the high like cancer was high. Like the levels. Yeah, like no cancer. Like the level of cancer was high.
A lot of people got cancer from
Or different diseases from going down there and working either from that day if they were there, or a lot of firefighters and police went down to and volunteers went down to help. And sifting through the rubble and things were still smoking. Yes, they got a lot of different diseases.
They hit the Pentagon too.
Yes. I know, we can't forget that. And so not only that, but then there was a fourth plane, and I think that's what you were talking about, that because by then they realized what was happening and they knew they were going to die. And they think that plane was going to be sent into the White House. They're not sure, right?
I think, that's the assumption.
The theory is that they were going to send this plane into the White House, but I think those people on that plane decided, no, we're going to fight back. We're going to die either way. So they took all of the hot water, like to make tea, and they somehow
they took the cart, the drain cart, and ran it into the door. And then like
so they took control. So the hijackers, you call it a hijacker. When you take over a plane, they got rid of the pilots, the terrorists, and then the regular people sitting there, were like, all right, we're going to do this. Yeah, they took the drinks cart, which is strong and metal, and they were all ready. They got into the cockpit, which is where the pilots are, and heard that, and the plane ended up crashing. So even though it killed everyone on board, which is so terrible, they were heroes because they prevented something worse happening.
There's multiple memorials.
How do you know that?
I was working at one of my first jobs after grad school. I was like 25-ish. So I remember like it was yesterday. It was gorgeous weather. It was like, I remember getting up in my bedroom and like getting ready for work that day. Because I don't remember any other day, but I remember that day. Because
how did they know what happened in the plane?
well, it took a while. I remember I used to work with little kids inside their houses and their parents had on the news, and they were like, oh, there's a fire. First it was like, oh, there's a fire at the World Trade Center. Oh, that sucks, there's a fire. And it was like, oh no, a plane caused it. And everyone thought it was an accident, because I guess that could happen. But then the second one hit, and then it was like, oh my God, this is not an accident. Someone's doing this on purpose.
And they know what happened on the planes because people could have, they didn't have as many cell phones, but the airplanes had phones that you could call, like in the seat. So you could pay to make a phone call. So people called their loved ones, people let them know, and then sometimes the hijackers spoke to air traffic control, or they didn't really know how to work the planes, and they have recordings of some of the stuff that went on.
Yeah, in planes have a thing called a black box, and it's a very protected, like recording piece of equipment. So even if there's a bad crash, Usually the black box survives, and then they can hear what people in the cockpit were saying.
Is it like sealed?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's bulletproof? It's bulletproof?
Yeah, probably.
I think so. It's
And
survived
fireproof,
plane
yeah.
crash.
And
Wait,
waterproof in case it goes into water.
They still have the audio to it?
Oh, I'm sure you can find it.
If they find the black box, they have whatever was recorded from the flight. The
Like the voice?
tracking, if the pilots called the
Yeah.
Power?
Yeah.
That's
So we have a problem,
recorded.
you know, the engine is having a problem, or.
Yeah, I think that last flight was able to acknowledge that they were hijacked and told. I recently watched a documentary about it. Yeah, there's a lot of some crazy.
My mom lost her good friend Nancy Liz. She works in the insurance industry.
Oh.
And she just went to my wedding. I got married right before 9/11. I got married August 25th, 2011.
Oh.
So her mom was one of the pretty pictures.
Wow.
Yeah, she was nice lady. She was nice lady. But, yeah, so over like 3,000 people, like, including everybody, you know, in all the different areas, okay. And here's why do we call it terrorism? Why isn't that just an act of war? Why do we call it terrorism?
Because they were going in our territory. And calling chaos.
I mean, yeah, because it's against us, but
I think
we
it's
talked a
called,
little bit about it yesterday.
I think it's called terrorism because like they planned this attack. First of all, terrorism is like when they plan to do something just like 9/11, where they plan to hijack a plane and crash into the World Trade Center.
And who were they trying to hurt?
The
Or
people,
kill?
they killed people.
What kind of people? Were they really?
Citizens.
Yeah, what was the word we used?
Civilians.
Civilians. Regular people. These are people in these buildings. They worked in insurance. They did banking. There were people in the restaurants. There used to be a famous restaurant on the top floors, like dishwashers, waiters, waitresses, cooks, like all different businesses. So these are not army people or.
Wait, wasn't the 9/11 towers for stock markets?
Yes, that too. Absolutely, absolutely.
They were multi-purpose buildings.
Yeah, because actually they were so tall, so there were so many offices. I'm
But
sure
they were built by Wall Street, by the stock market.
Wait, I know, because it's by the ferry.
Terrible.
Wait, isn't there-
Also, they want to create terror. What does terror mean?
To fear?
Yes, very good. If you're terrified, they want everyone to be scared. It certainly worked that day. Even afterwards, people were always scared I'm sure to go on planes or to go to big buildings or to go on the top floors. Yeah.
Wait, on the news, I saw, like, not even a while ago, like a long time ago, I saw on the news that they said they rebuilt, like, one tower.
Yes, that they call it the Freedom Tower. They didn't rebuild both of them. It took a long time. And there's a memorial there, a very pretty memorial. I think it has like a fountain with everyone's name.
Yeah, we went there. Like,
We went there.
Miss Cohen.
Oh, Miss Cohen. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. It's beautiful. I know. Miss Cohen's actually, just when she did this the other day with the other class, she said there's a school on Long Island that 44 students lost either one or both parents.
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of those, I remember when they said all the firefighters went at the same time, or all the cops went at the same time. Now they don't do that.
Keyshawn, get out. Get
So
out.
Stay out. Yeah. So I mean, imagine have 44 students who lost a parent or both.
All at the same time.
Terrible.
Let's watch the movie.
Yes.
What video?
9/11.
You guys weren't born, were you?
No,
I was born 2008.
I was born.
You're not 25.
Miss. I was born right after 9/11.
People were standing
I was
still,
born
which is
2009.
weird in New York.
It's not right after.
That is not right after.
Oh.
I was born 2008.
And testing.
Yes, I was. Bro, stop saying I'm not when I am.
Especially controversial with teachers who were great friends of Crash Course U.S. History, so we will say nothing more. Most importantly, George W. Bush pushed through the largest tax.
They're talking about him because he
What
did
is
a
happening?
good job during this very terrible time.
Oh yeah, kids in the school was like a bunch of children.
Yeah, he was reading to a group of young students.
And then someone told them about like what happened.
It was a beautiful fall day.
They're like,
Oh, come on.
You know, they
I'm
never-
having such trouble with this.
Okay.
He's gonna describe, someone's describing like what he was, how the day was.
It was a beautiful fall day, crisp blue sky. I was coming into work late that day. I guess I didn't have first period class. It was only the second or third day of school. When I emerged from the subway, Union Square was strangely quiet, which only added to the beauty of the day. People were standing still, which is weird in New York under any circumstances, and looking down University Place toward Lower Manhattan. Before I even looked, I asked the passerby what had happened. She or he, I really don't remember, said that a plane had crashed into the trade center. Then I looked and saw the smoke billowing out of the South Tower. I thought it was an accident, but I knew this was not going to be an easy day. Well, it's obviously someone who was in New York City on September 11th, 2001, but that only narrows it down to like 10 million people. However, I happen to know that it is crash course historian and my high school history teacher, Raul Meyer, who wrote that account. This is the saddest I have ever been. I'm shocked. So whether George Bush's domestic policy would have worked is up for debate, but the events of September 11th, 2001 ensured that foreign policy would dominate any discussion of the opening decade of the 21st century. That morning, terrorists affiliated with Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airliners, 2 planes were flown into Manhattan's World Trade Center, a third was crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, and a fourth, also heading for Washington, D.C., crashed in Pennsylvania when passengers overpowered the hijackers. Almost 3,000 people died, including almost 400 policemen and firefighters. As Americans rushed to help in the search for survivors and to rebuild the devastated city, a shared sense of trauma and the desire to show resolve really did bring the country together. President Bush's popularity soared in the wake of the attacks, and in a speech on September 20th, the president told Americans watching on television that the terrorists had targeted America, quote, because we love freedom and they hate freedom. This is another critical moment in American history where the definition of freedom is being reimagined. And we were reminded in the wake of September 11th that one of the central things the government does to keep us free is to keep us safe. But at the same time, ensuring our safety sometimes means impinging upon our freedom. And the question of how to keep America safe while also preserving our civil liberties is one of the central questions of the 21st century. At any rate, in that September 20th speech, the president announced a new guiding principle in foreign policy that became known as the Bush Doctrine. America would go to war with terrorism, making no distinction between the terrorists and the nations that harbored them. Bush laid out the terms for the world that night: either you are with us or you are with the terrorists. But that dichotomy, of course, would prove to be a bit of an oversimplification. So on October 7th, the United States launched its first airstrikes on Afghanistan, which at the time was ruled by a group of Islamic fundamentalists called the Taliban, who were protecting Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda's leader. This was followed by American ground troops supporting the anti-Taliban Northern Alliance in chasing out the Taliban and setting up a new Afghan government that was friendly to the United States. This new government undid many of the worst Taliban policies, for instance, allowing women and girls to go to school and even to serve in the parliament. More women than girls in the parliament, naturally. But by 2007, the Taliban was beginning to make a comeback. And although fewer than 100 Americans died in the initial phase of the war, a sizable force remained. And in the ensuing 12 years, the number of Americans killed would continue to rise.
That was kind of a weird ending, but
Not be shocked. So whether George Bush's domestic policy for months without any charge, the administration also set up a camp for accused terrorists in Guantanamo. Point out that Bush's victory is still a bit surprising to history, to 120,000 in 2004. And it is.
So again, yesterday we talked about that globalization. This thing is whether or not globalization has made the world safer or not. And yesterday we talked about that. Generally speaking, there are a lot less wars now, and there has been less wars, but that we have an uptick in terrorism, right? So let's go to a page.
August 1968 to 2009. That's my birthday.
Yes, okay, yeah. What page? Oh, I have pages on this?
3, this is page 3.
Page 3. No, page 4.
This is page 4. This is page 3 right here. Page, look.
Okay.
Page 3, page 4.
Oh, I misnumbered them. I didn't write 3 here. No, 3, 4, I'm all right.
3 is 17.
I'm sorry, you're right. The graph, I'm sorry. So yeah, this idea of terrorism was kind of new, right? It started in 1968 pretty much. Generally speaking, before that, people were just always going to war. And remember that kind of coincides with like countries fighting each other. And it's almost like do you remember that the chart we looked at yesterday? It had all of this stuff before like 1950, when the World Wars ended, right? So that
That's why you put that accent.
Deaths went down, but this is when terrorism started to creep up, and then of course, more recently, the 1990s, up. I mean, we've had other terror attacks here. We've also had domestic terror. What does that mean, domestic terror attacks?
Abusing your own family.
That's domestic violence. So where does that happen? You said your family. So where does
Abusing your own
domestic violence
country.
usually happen?
Abusing your own country.
Okay, wait.
Wait.
You're right. So domestic, generally, global history and government, we're talking about domestic, we mean our country. Foreign is everybody else. So he even mentioned Bush had domestic policies and foreign policies. So domestic policies is what he's talking about at our home, in our country, and the foreign we have dealing with other countries. And you mentioned, yes, like domestic violence. Unfortunately, yes. If there is violence going on in your home, between your family members, they call it domestic violence. It is in your home. So yeah, absolutely. So we've also had domestic terrorism. So domestic terrorism means that in our countries, an American did it. There was the bombing at the Olympics.
The Boston
The
Marathon.
Boston Marathon, that's another terrible.
Wait, in the U.S. In the U.S.
9/11.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
domestic,
well,
not domestic, that's what we're differentiating, that was a.
It happened here, but the people who did it were not American.
The Boston Marathon.
Yes, I believe they were American, those two young men were
Thank
American.
you.
There we
And
go.
then the Oklahoma City bombing.
The Oklahoma City bombing.
Those were definitely American, I think one American.
Wait, the Oklahoma.
And then in Georgia, and I think it was Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia was at the Olympics, that was another American.
There's another one I'm thinking
But luckily, look, it's gone down too. We had a big spike, and then it went down. So again, even though it has caused, and again, it's globalization, because we get involved, sometimes we get involved in other things, and other people don't like it, again, it's, sometimes things are like I'm American, so I'm usually on America's side, right, as an American.
Sometimes.
But and sometimes I'm not. But, again, as another country, maybe I think we were doing the right thing. And the president thinks they're doing the right thing by getting involved in other countries. But those people, not all of them agree.
Exactly.
I mean, it's complicated,
Like put Barack Obama back in office.
I don't think he wants to do that. And I don't think he can. He's been president twice. So I don't
For
Yeah, that's one of the rules.
That's not.
You can only be president twice.
Wait, wasn't
Like for a total of 8 years. There is a little exception because there was a situation, I think it was like FDR.
wait, was John F. Kennedy the one that had more FDR? Who's that? Oh, John F. Kennedy.
That's Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh,
Why is that?
I had something to do with, was it the war? I
It
just
was
think
the
I
war.
don't know.
FDR, I think the rule came into place after FDR came out.
What's that deal?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he was the president during World War II.
And he got.
We call it that because he has a very long name. He was one in the wheelchair. He had polio. He was in the
Did Jay killed the assassin killed him?
Lee Harvey
Oh,
Oswald.
that was the other one.
That's what he mentioned. He
JFK,
mentioned JFK and
You're
John F.
confusing
Kennedy.
because
No, there was
Yes.
one where.
He was in the car. He was in
No,
the
there was
car.
one where back then there was like a carriage and then someone was with his wife and then.
Oh, no, you're thinking that's Archduke Ferdinand.
Yeah.
That's not America, that's Austria.
Australia.
Austria-Hungary.
Yes.
Hungary.
That's what started World War I. So hold on, wait, so why was, how many years FDR?
I think what it is you can only be elected for 2 terms. There's like a loophole where if you're vice president and you ascend to the
That was
presidency.
it, maybe that was what
I
it
think,
was.
yeah, so like if the president, like when JFK was assassinated, Lyndon B. Johnson became the president, but he wasn't elected to that position. He, I think, could have run for 2 terms and been elected for 2 terms as president. I think you can only be elected.
Yeah.
There's all these weird rules.
So that's why it was over 8 years.
I think that
Yes.
needs to be in it.
So he might have been vice president and got to be president.
For that, Ezra. Damn, shit, that notification.
I might have changed the notifications.
So another thing we have, so now let's go to page 4. Page 4. Another claim is that globalization leads to international cooperation, which makes the world a safer place. And we've talked about some of these groups. Almost time to go. Yeah. So the UN, we have the UN, or the United Nations. We have the NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO, yes. And then there are other.
NATO.
Here, let me put it up here because it's easier to see with the color.
It's called NATO.
Yeah, you can call it NATO. Again, they do that, even like with LBJ and JFK and FDR, it's just easier to say.
It's short.
So you can see, so NATO, right, is say the green is all NATO, North American, that's the Organization of American States. So all of the Americas belong to that, right? Except for that one little place which I believe is
USSR.
owned by, I want to say France, but that's what that was. The USSR is the stripe, right? Do you see that? The striped one?
Russia.
So they're all together, yes, yeah, they're all together. There's the Council of Europe that's kind of purple. So each kind of area, each part of the world has their own version of NATO. Right? You can have, even Australia and New Zealand, they have like the Pacific Islands one.
Pacific Islands.
And like Africa belongs to the African Union, right? There's power in numbers, right? You can help each other. If one country needs help, you can help each other. You can protect each other. You can stand together, united, right? It helps us. And we're in that.
Yeah, the rule about the two term limit.
Oh, so Ms. Kramer was right. Did you hear what she said?
FDR was elected actually 4 terms as president.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's 16 years.
16 years. So after him, so he finished his presidency in 1948 or something. It's the 22nd Amendment to our Constitution that limits presidential terms to 2 elected years.
I think that maybe they should have changed terms. Yeah, I think so.
We have some old decrepit people in the Senate.
Yeah, Miss, he died. I think he died because during the 16 years, he aged a lot.
Yeah, well, they do say that when you become president, the blood
Thank you.
tremendously.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But he was unwell. He was unwell for a long time too, though.
After his polio.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in a wheelchair for a long time. Let's see how old he was.
Probably 70.
What do you think?
80.
You say 80?
Why did it get so quiet?
That happens in conversations. They say, right, it's a 7-minute lull, right? They say, when you get a group of people together, they talk, and they after 7 minutes or something. And I don't know why. Oh, I can't. Oh, he died when he was only 63.
He was in public service for like the majority of his life.
That's crazy.
I hope I die when I'm 50.
You don't want to die at all.
Too young.
You want to die when you're 80.
Too young, maybe.
I want to live forever.
Well, you don't want to live forever. You want to live. You want to live. You're gonna see. Listen, you're gonna see all your family.
If I were healthy and I had all my marbles, yeah, then I'd be okay, but I don't want to.
Make new ones.
Exactly. But if you make a new family, then they're gonna die, and then they're gonna die.
Make new ones. Make new ones over.
The meteor's
Do
gonna.
what?
Then a meteor's gonna hit, and you're gonna drift through space.
No, Dr. Neil deGrasse
How do you know
Tyson
they're
says, generally speaking, if there is a meteor on its path to hit us, we will know, and we'll probably be able to destroy it before it hits us.
Oh, that's good.
That's good, but like,
That's what he said.
we're gonna also have to think about human extinction. If you're immortal,
We won't be here for that. Don't worry about it. We won't be here if it happens. We won't be here.
I want to be here.
no, you don't. You're gonna be
Just
alone. You're gonna be alone for the rest of your life, and you won't even die.
Don't tell me what I want.
We won't be here.
Don't think.
All right, he wants to be here, Jay Sean.
What's up?
All right, so let's think about the last one is nuclear warheads or nuclear power.
Warfare.
Nuclear bomb. So these are all countries that have nuclear weapons on the top in the different colors here.
Isn't that nice?
Water, son.
Yes. So you have the UK, United Kingdom, France, Russia, United
You got
States,
3 minutes.
Pakistan, Israel, India, and China. So all of these countries have nuclear weapons. Blue is the United States, and this kind of brown red is Russia. So what are the 2 countries with the most? Which is the one country with the most? Which country has the most?
United States.
The United States. Who has the second most?
Russia.
Russia, all right? So.
But there's only two there.
No one will use it. Well, I think here, it's very hard to see, but like, I think this is a different color, and this is like everybody else.
A microphone glass.
Yeah.
A microscope. We need a microscope for that.
I know. I mean, I guess it's good that we have one, so just as long as we don't use it.
But look at the vast difference. Look how much more we have compared to everyone else.
Yeah, even to Russia. I mean,
Yo.
even Russia has a lot, we have a lot more. Yeah, which, I don't know, it makes me feel good, I don't know.
Oh, but it was clearly a lot during the,
I didn't
that was the Cold
know.
War too, right? 1980, 1990.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So it's tapered off quite a bit.
So what would be the trend of this graph? What's the trend of this
TikTok.
graph?
United
This
States.
graph. United States what?
It's growing. Nuclear powers.
Well, when was the height? What year?
1980.
1980. But now the trend is that it's what?
1980.
2014.
It's what? What's the trend? Is it going up or down?
Sega.
You can say the trend was that from 1945 to 1980, it was increasing and it reached its peak, and then after 1980, the trend
And then
was at its peak.
and China was
Sega.
in 1940, the trend going up, and it went down at.
I think that's Russia, honey. The red.
The red is China.
That's Russia.
This brown red is Russia. Yeah, this is Russia.
So what? Russia and the United States and the 1980s. What was that?
Nuclear.
Cold War.
Cold War.
Sega.
That's what we can be. Oh, you have one bomb. I'm gonna make 2 bombs. So you have 5 bombs. I'm gonna make 10 bombs.
Oh, it's basically like
The nuclear arm race.
There you go.
a nuclear arm race. They're gonna size up each other.
Exactly. And then eventually we realized, oh my God, if we keep going, we're really gonna blow up the whole world and kill everybody on it. So then they did some trees.
Flash on,
Yes. The Cowboy Gorbachev, remember with the big
blood wine.
birthmark